To reflect objects about the x or y axis and other movements. Reflect about the y axis and down 4. So if we take this point and reflect about the y axis, it's at -5, 6. So we're going to go across the y axis to 5, 6. Now this point is at -2, 6, so it becomes 2, 6. This point's at -1, 3, so it goes to 1, 3. And this point is at -6, 3, so it goes to 6, 3. And connect the dots. Now we move each point down 4. So the one at 2, 6 goes down 4 to 2, 2. The one at 5, 6 goes down 4 points to 5, 2. The point at 6, 3 goes down to 6, -1. And the point at 1, 3 goes down to 1, -1. Again, connect the dots. So your figure should still look the same as the original figure, just reflected and moved down. So your final point should be 1, -1, 6, -1, 5, 2, and 2, 2. We're going to reflect across the x-axis and down 6. So we take this point and reflect it across the x-axis. We're at -6, -6, so it becomes -6, 6. This point is at -2, -6, so it becomes -2, +6. This one is at -6, -5, so it becomes -6, +5. And this one's at -2, -5, so it becomes -2, 5. Again, we connect the points. And now we move each point down 6. So the point at -6, 6 becomes -6, 0. The point at -2, 6 becomes -2, 0. The point at -6, 5 becomes -6, -1. And the point at -2, 5 becomes -2, -1. Again, connect the points. So your final answers should be -6, 0, -2, 0, -6, -1, and -2, -1. Since we're reflecting across the x-axis, this first point, which is at 5, -2, becomes 5, 2. The point at 5, -5 becomes 5, 5. And the point at 1, -5 becomes 1, 5. So now it has been reflected across the x-axis. And now we need to move it up 2. So this point, which is at 5, 5, becomes 5, 7. The point at 5, 2 becomes 5, 4. There is a point right there. And the point at 1, 5 becomes 1, 7. So your points would be 1, 7, 5, 7, and 5, 4. So if we reflect across the y-axis, this point will become, that's at 3, 6, will become 3, -3, 6, sorry. This point that's at 5, 6, will become negative 5, 6. This point that is at 1, 4 will become negative 1, 4. And the point that's at 7, 4 will become negative 7, 4. The point at 3, 2 will become negative 3, 2. And the point that's at 5, 2 will become negative 5, 2. Again, we connect our points. Okay, now we want to move down 2. This point and all of these points will move down on the y-axis 2 points. So the first point is at negative 5, 6, so it will become negative 5, 4. The next point that's at negative 3, 6 will become negative 3, 4. The point at negative 1, 4 will become negative 1, 2. The point at negative 3, 2 will become negative 3, 0. The point at negative 5, 2 will become negative 5, 0. And finally, the point at negative 7, 4 will become negative 7, 2. Again, connect the points. And your final answer should be negative 5, 4, negative 3, 4, negative 1, 2, negative 3, 0, negative 5, 0, and negative 7, 2. Alright, so if we reflect across the y-axis and up 5, this point right here, which is at 5, negative 6, becomes negative 6, no, sorry, negative 5, negative 6. The point at 3, negative 6 becomes negative 3, 6, negative 6. And the point at 5, negative 4 becomes negative 5, negative 4. Again, connect the points. Now it says move each point up 5. So the point at negative 5, negative 4 becomes negative 5, 1. The point at negative 5, negative 6 becomes negative 5, negative 1. And the point at negative 3, negative 6 becomes negative 3, negative 1.
What was it? -5,